Hi, friends and fellow Earth Angels. It's Gladys, and welcome back to another one of my weekly Sunday card readings. And this spread will start by covering July 7th to the 13th, or whenever you're guided to watch, as I always intend these readings to be timeless, meaning you can come back at any point in time to receive guidance, to feel uplifted, nourished, cherished, and really informed by the divine. So this week I pulled the Archangel Michael deck. When I stand in front of my plethora of cards, I just wait and pause, and I felt Michael kind of push his way in and saying, I got something to say. So I pulled the Michael cards, and I'm going to back them up with, so we have Michael, the Archangel Michael decks here, but I'm going to back up his messages with Nature's Whispers, Whispers of the Ocean for emotional support, loving message from Michael, and then we'll finish up with an angel prayer. One of the things I want to say before I open up space is I was thinking about the void that people have been experiencing, this energy of feeling unfulfilled, feeling a call for purpose, a call for fulfillment, a reason for being here on this planet. So if you're in that space, know that you're in the vibration of the call. I talked about last year, at the end of last year, how God was going to turn that key and activate his stormtroopers. And if you're feeling that nudge inside, or that void, I should be doing so much more with my life, or there's something missing, or I'm not really sure what it is, know that I didn't fully embrace this work that I'm doing as my life purpose until I started to proactively do my inner work, shadow work, soul mission stuff, to really work on the unconscious belief systems, programs, the way of being that society expected of me to conform, really to feel safe in the world. So it's only been these last couple years that I have completely aligned with life purpose and soul mission in my spiritual journey. And that ultimately has activated this level and clarity of purpose in my life. And so I think it can be easy for us to look at people in the world like Chip and Joanna Gaines and Oprah, maybe Tony Robbins, Joel Osteen, these people in the world who are doing it, whatever that is, and it's easy to look at them and say, oh, I want to get there. Not necessarily, that status, but how they're lit up and they're excited about life. And so understand that if you're here on this channel, you're watching these messages and it's speaking to you, you're in it. You're in the experience. You're on the pathway. I say all the time that Jesus had to get on the road and travel to another neighborhood, to another village, to another part of the world in order to spread his light and in order to share his message. And it required a level of him taking a step-by-step process, a physical step-by-step process. So for those of you out there who are feeling this void, I feel like I need to let you know that you're on the pathway. Even though it doesn't look like how you want it to look, you're on the pathway. And even though I've been doing this work for 13 years, it's only been the last 2 or 3, like I said, that I've been actively doing inner work, that I finally feel like I'm in alignment. So many of you could be on the pathway, but it can be clouded by your own inner work, your subconscious belief systems, the ego part of your mind. And I'm not demonizing the ego. It is certainly a pathway, and it's a navigator to show you where your comfort zone is. And if it's still not enough for you, this is how we co-create balance in the world. So I feel like Michael is the protector. He is the archangel that comes onto our path to lead the way for us, to support us on the journey. So some of you, if you're feeling this, space, call on the Archangel Michael, ask him for assistance. I say so often, the sirens. And I can tell you, friends, I haven't heard one fire truck, ambulance, or cop car go by today. So it's been really quiet, which I thought was interesting that, he called me to work with his cards, because usually I get some signs or messages before and I haven't yet. So we'll see how the reading unfolds. And so, like I said, this inner work, this showing up to the yucky parts of your life, showing up to the things that you don't want to see, showing up to the discomfort, the unconscious beliefs, the frustrations, the anger, the annoyances, the critic, showing up to what's activating in your world is the pathway, even though it doesn't feel like it, right? Because obviously we like when everything's great and going well, but it's really not going to get us to the next level unless we, like I said, go through the muck. So that being said, let me open up space. Invite in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, God, source, creator of the universe, and all his holy beings of light who would like to assist. I'd like to call in Mother Goddess, the Holy Spirit, the divine feminine energies. And I ask that the messages that come through be for your best and highest good, and the best and highest good of all concerned. All right, friends, let's begin. Archangel Michael, what is the most important message you have for EarthAngel Collective this week? So, here's the message. It's time to leave this unhealthy situation. So, the prayer. Archangel Michael, what parts of my life do I need to focus on more closely right now? Thank you for helping me hear your answers and for giving me the courage to make healthy changes in my life. There's this card here. So it's beautiful. He's got the sword and he's got the light, right? To dispel the darkness and to light the way. So beautiful. Again, I keep seeing the yin yang energy, balance the masculine and feminine energies. We're just dropped into this lunar eclipse tunnel. I just did a pick a card reading for support through the lunar eclipse tunnel, and the masculine and feminine energy balance has come up. And so this is where we show up and face the stuff. I just keep getting this image. Where are you binging on junk food that is not nourishing your body? It might be physical. And now again, I always say this is not to shame. This is not to shame. Because really we need to be in full acceptance about like where we're at and what we're doing. So here's the difference. If my body has a craving for Haagen-Dazs ice cream, I'm going to go get Haagen-Dazs ice cream and I'm going to enjoy it. I don't have it in my refrigerator all the time. So I listen to my body when I'm called to those cravings. And when I feed it what it's searching for, what it's looking for, then I don't crave it again. I don't need it. So there's this doctor out there who can take 3 fingers and he can like put his fingers like on your wrist, and he can know exactly what's wrong with you and the steps to take to healing. And it's a TED Talk, and there's a guy who worked for him, and he talked about how he was helping this doctor out, and his body was just starting to crash. So he went to this doctor and he said, "Can you tell me like what my body needs?" And the doctor was like, "Your body needs onion rings." And he was like, "Onion rings?" Now he's labeled those good or bad, right or wrong, but in that moment his body needed onion rings. So he went out to the local like whatever house of pizza or whatever it was, and he got onion rings, and he said, "I felt so much better after that." So we're in this place and we live in this world where we've got this invisible line of what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong. And this has been coming up within my life. It's been coming up within clients' life. And so I feel like this is what's going on in the collective right now. And how do we show up to these things and answer the call, the craving, feed it and nourish it what it's looking for. And being able to savor it without shaming, without blaming, without, like I said, demonizing your mother role or your role at work or your role in your family or your husband role or your wife role or whatever these roles are that you're feeding. And I feel Michael is saying, especially with this eclipse tunnel that goes through all the way through the first week of July, it's time to look at unhealthy situations. And for a lot of you, it's your emotional health. It's how you're emotionally and mentally and spiritually feeding your body. And so how are you comparing yourself to where others are at in the world? Now, and that's just an illusion because you have no idea the work it takes to get to that point. And I'm not quiet about telling you how many dark nights of the souls that I've had, bouts of depression, eating disorders most of my life, a suicide attempt. Now, that all came out of this part of me that didn't and wouldn't listen to this spiritual force, this divine feminine energy that's been operating within me. And it's only through the last challenge that I was like, that's it. Here it is again. Something's got to change. Enough is enough. Where I was open and receptive to another way. And that's why I say I've been doing this work for many years. But it was only until I finally, stopped serving the world and took care of myself and put everything on pause and start taking care of myself that my spiritual powers, if you will, increased and enhanced. And I don't mean that in an ego way. I mean it as the depth of the work that I'm doing and the healing work that I'm doing is going deeper for myself and others. So it's time for you this week to look at these unhealthy situations. But again, it's not for us to activate the victim within and saying, well, it's because of this and it's because of that. It's saying, how am I calling this in? How am I a vibrational match to this? And so again, maybe if you're seeing something in the world, how is it reflecting back at you? How are you feeling powerless? How are you feeling? How are you bullying yourself? How are you? I'm also feeling the inner child work for some of you. So maybe you've been thinking about inner child work, or maybe videos have been popping up about it. Some of you could really benefit from doing inner child work or healing that part of you. So this is shadow work, right? It goes back to childhood when your needs weren't met. And again, this isn't to demonize parents or caregivers or teachers. It's about the needs that weren't met, especially with earth angels, our emotional needs. Like the world that we live in or have lived in up until this point doesn't have the ability to support us emotionally in the way we can do for ourselves. And so it's actually through the pain and the challenges that bring us back to learning how to parent ourselves, right? And support ourselves and love and nourish ourselves. And it comes out of a time of being so sick of and tired of where you're at and feeling crappy and feeling yucky and feeling drained and feeling depleted and feeling uncomfortable, right? So, when you see people in the world who are doing their thing and they're lit up and they're just really creating in the world and they're magical, that is a reflection of what is inside of you, right? And all you have to do is surrender to these divine beings, not again give your power to, but surrender to and getting comfortable in the space in between the action, right? When you can't do anything else, how do you pause and surrender and say, okay, I give it up. I give it up to the divine. And so I feel like it said this week, those beasts may come up to the forefront, but I want you to be activated in your power and excited about it. I don't want you to dread it like the past. That's a comfort zone, right? Oh, here we go, Mercury retrograde. Oh, here we go, lunar eclipse. Oh, here we go, full moon. No. You have to interrupt that pattern to go there with the drama and the feeling powerlessness. And I'm saying it is time to get excited because you're on a mission on this planet, and now is the time to really change the way you've been approaching things that aren't working for you anymore. And Michael is coming in to show you this. He can work with your shadow and your light. And all you have to do is say, okay, Michael, I'm open. Show me. Prove it. What are the next steps? And you may get guidance to wait, to pause, to observe, to do nothing. And that's full surrender. When you feel like you need to do something to make something happen, that's when you should surrender the most, when you should pull back and go within. And we've been talking about this for weeks now, and this is kind of like the culmination. Now is a time for you to take a different course of action, and it's in the present moment based on the experiences that show up in your life. So if you get on the highway and there's traffic, how can you say, okay, my go-to is to get frustrated and get anxiety and feel out of control? How do you go to that inner child, say, hey, we got this, we're good, we've been here before, I feel you, I heal you, I hear you. So how do you be present with all the facets of your experience without trying to suppress it, put it on something, make something happen? How do you embrace it? And it's just like birth, right? And the constriction of the body and the pain in the body. And as many of you are being squeezed right now. And so how do you surrender into that pain and use it to revitalize your system, to recharge your system, to activate this energy that within you that's been dormant? It's so powerful, my friends. All right, so let's get into Nature's Whispers. Michael, what additional message do you have for the collective this week? Okay, so there's two here. Oh, oh, yay. Pause, right? So here we are in the cards, card number 4. 4 is a card of structure. It's a card of foundation. It's like a get to work number. It's also an angel number. The angels are letting you know that they're here to support you, so call them in. So many of you this week, it's time to leave this unhealthy situation. I'm feeling all you have to do is say, okay, I'm ready. So if it is uncomfortable experiences or situations that are coming in, all you have to do is pause and say, I'm willing to release this unhealthy situation. I'm willing to be open to taking the actions as it comes to me. So I feel like they're saying, this isn't a card to do something about it. It's a time to take pause and being open and receptive to the divine showing you the next steps. And this is where acceptance of love. Ooh. So we're moving into a vibration. The planet is moving into a vibration of love, unconditional love that we've never experienced on this planet. And many of you know love that's conditional. And that's just the energy that we've been in. And it's going to require releasing things and being comfortable in the space in between, in the pause, right? To make room for higher levels of love to come in. And so how can you learn how to be comfortable, uncomfortable, especially the state of the world right now, especially here in the United States? There's a lot of emotional energy that's being activated, rightfully so, right? This is how things move within people. This is how things come up and shift and heal, right? So it's not about taking sides. It's not about right or wrong. It's about clearing to release and making room for higher vibrations of energies of love to come in. And that's what here we are in the United States. It's a peace movement, right? It's a love it's a love movement. We need to see the true colors. We need to see what's not working. We need to see what's working. And when you can pull out of good or bad, right or wrong, and rise above that, you can see things from a different perspective. And it requires the space of pause to see these things. So, when I'm struggling with something or I have a challenge, I go to the divine saying, okay, God, show me what I need to know about the situation. Show me what the next step is. Show me what I need to know about this. And I might not get anything in that moment or the days to come. And then all of a sudden it just hits me. Maybe a book comes along. Maybe I have a client where something's channeled and I'm like, there it is. And this is how we're all working together. This planet is just one big old dysfunctional family who loves each other so much, right? If you think about family members, like there are family members who do stuff and you're like, why do they do that? Or where are they even coming from? Or what is even happening? But yet, on some level, you love them the same for your family, and you can decide whether to be around that energy or not. So again, you get to choose. You have a choice on how to move forward, which also means that having a choice and choosing non-action is a choice. And like I said, many of you are getting comfortable. And I'm also experiencing, I just feel like this is the harmony of your own inner masculine and feminine energy here. And they want to come together. So your own inner masculine, feminine energy. Where is your inner bully or critic or the narcissist? People want to demonize the narcissist, but it's a reflection of parts of us in the world. So all the darkness we see in the world is just a reflection of what's inside of us. This shadow stuff, these conditions, these belief systems, these programs that we've been told, especially with divine feminine energies, on how to be. And we've been in this space of suppressing that for so long that all this energy is coming up and out. You've got to kind of rise above and see that everything we've been experiencing in 2020 is like a purge, is a huge purge of what's been dormant on a global perspective and then to each one of us individually. So let's see here. Let me get into emotional. I'm just noticing, I think the lighting is off. I think my light, I think I switched my light. So I apologize if it's weird lighting. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm just noticing that. I don't know. Hopefully you can see. Let's see. Okay, Archangel, how do you want to support the collective emotionally? What emotional support do they need? What do they need to hear to support their emotional body? Adrift in shallow water. So, card says, take a few deep breaths and reconnect to your inner peace. Notice the small things and appreciate them. So this is the non-action. So here's a story. I was watching a TV show that I enjoy, and I was catching up, and my doggy kept like walking on me in my face, stepping on me, and it is so unlike him. He's not one to bother. And so I thought he could, because the show I was watching, I love it because it's like adrenaline. It's like one of those, it's Blind Spot, if any of you watch it. I love that show. And I jump all over the place. I'm like, oh my God. And they know just when to put the commercials, and they know just when to give the cliffhanger. And I love that they do that. I love it about that show. I don't watch a lot of shows like that. Or really, that's the only one I watch. But I thought he was feeling my angst and my excitement, and it was like amping him up, and he didn't know what to do about it because I'm usually not like that. And so the show stopped, and I turned on something else because I was eating dinner, and he got off the bed and he went stepped by the door. I'm like, that's so unlike him. So I said, do you have to go outside? Because he just went out. And I was like, all right, let's go. And so I put his leash on, I put his collar on. We went out the back door. He's kind of foughting around, meandering. I go around the corner, and there in the sky, I see a big old rainbow. Now, I have to say, a few months ago, I was a little jealous because people were seeing rainbows and I was in the house, and I'm like, I'm missing everything by being in the house. And I sat there, and there were these birds flying around. I think they were bats. I'm not really sure. They were flying around, and I'm just staring at the sky and pausing, adrift in shallow water, savoring those moments. And also, too, he was outside another day, and he wouldn't move. He wouldn't come in. I was kind of saying, hey, let's go. And he was just kind of standing there, and I just kind of embraced it. I was like, all right, this is his time. I'm going to wait till he's ready. He'll tell me. And then, would you know, a cardinal came along, and sat right on top of my house, right on top of the roof, and looked down at us. I'm like, son of a gun, he knew. And then time before that, we were on a walk on the street. It was a busy road, and he just stops. I'm like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, all right, we're waiting. What are we waiting for? And then church bells went off. And I took a moment to receive the energy of the church bells because I love church bells. And so what are you missing by rushing around and not taking pause? So for me, my dog's teaching me, right? Even though it's not the status quo, you don't just stop on a busy road. Like, you don't just stop, but he did. And because he did, I heard the church bells. Or like I said, because he wasn't doing anything, I'm like, come on, do something, make a move, do something. And I'm like, all right, let's pause. And so he is part of nature, right? He's part of that divine feminine essence that teaches you how to be and savor the moment. So like I said, I share those stories, or they're coming up because I could have easily missed that. I could have said, oh, now, you just went out. You don't have to go. What are you bugging me for? I certainly could have done that. But I didn't. And now it's teaching me like, wow, listen to how the universe is moving me in flow. So it was out of the scope of the norm, but I embraced it, and then I received kind of like a reward or a treat or an experience from the goddess, from the divine feminine essence, the nature of presence that's all around me. This is the divine feminine energy, and receiving her in the moment, right? This is how you come into harmony, right? My dog is a boy, and it was like he was this beautiful masculine energy that was showing me what I didn't even know I needed, and it was just so perfect. So again, I hope you're feeling it, right? Because I just feel like as we get into these unhealthy situations and we dive into things that pull us outside of ourselves, we miss these moments and then wonder why we're depressed and sad and unfulfilled and angry. And again, it's not to shame, it's a pathway and a navigator. So how do we make change in the world? Change yourself, right? Make changes within yourself in your own vibration. And as you do it, I do it, and everybody else in the world do it, we shift a vibration in humanity. Our light, our love, our spiritual energy is what shifts a vibration. So this week, be mindful of taking a few deep breaths and reconnect with your inner peace. That is that stillness within of pause. Notice the small things and appreciate them, right? And you don't have to document it. You don't have to share it. Nobody has to know. I mean, I have a lot of moments that are just my private moments, and it's the special connection I have with the divine. Now, my whole life's work is me sharing, right, this work and spiritual energy and helping people awaken and supporting them. And so I really treasure these moments that I have to myself and with the divine, and I savor them. So there's this balance of how I give and receive in the world. All right, so Michael, what message of love do you have for the collective? What loving message do you have for the collective? What do they need to know about love? What do you want the collective to know about love? Earth angels. Rest and relaxation is essential. It says we all have a fundamental need to take breaks. Pause. Breaks. Take a deep breath and reconnect with inner peace. Notice the small things and appreciate them. That's presence. That's stopping and pausing. So, this unhealthy situation, how are you escaping into action? How are you escaping into not feeling good enough, the need to do something, to make something happen? Resting this week, friends. Especially when there's all this emotional energy that's out there, you're gonna feel it naturally. So for many of you, you may require extra sleep this week, or pause, or rest, And again, that's where the love comes in. That's where the insight, the knowledge, and the wisdom comes from. Rest and relaxation is essential, right? We've been in this COVID lockdown and we're talking about what's essential, what's not essential. So spiritually, the divine is saying rest and relaxation is essential. And a lot of us have been programmed to feel, especially those of you who are business owners, like if you're not doing something and taking action and working towards your goals and all that stuff, then you're just wasting your life. Well, I call baloney on that. I say my life has magically unfolded by me doing nothing and doing nothing with regards to like being on the hunt and trying to force something and make something happen. It's when I paused and I started enjoying the beauty of my life and my healing and really shifting how I was giving in the world and just receiving myself, and how I've been, being mindful with a routine on getting rest and relaxation. I really fine-tune my schedules when I pay bills, when I eat food. And even though it sounds mundane, it's actually given me way more freedom than I've ever had in my whole life. And it started from that act of pulling back and feeling the need to make something happen. Yeah, I was going to say, this number here, 4 plus 2 is 6. I was just kind of looking at the other numbers. We have 6 here, 4, and then 8, 9, 10, 11, 2. So 2 is like worries and fears, doubts, have faith, everything's going to be okay. 4s is, like I said, a structure number. It's the angels in your life. And 6 is about home and family. And I just keep getting reminded of that reading I did where God was reminding you that you're safe at home within your own physical body. So if you're not feeling safe this week or you're feeling out of control, come home, come within this inner peace, come in within yourself and trust that you have everything you need to keep yourself safe. All right, final message, angel prayer. Okay, Michael, what overall message does the divine have for the collective this week? Okay, so there's 2. Yes. So we have new beginnings. Look how amazing that is. This is, gosh, it's like the same card. Wow. You can see that. Let me see. Let me put this down. It's like Michael's like, I got your back. I'm working on the shadow and the light. All you got to do is walk through the door. That is so amazing. Again, here we have the reflection of shadow and light, right? Neither is good or bad. Both are needed. If you think about the yin and yang, they're perfect balance. In the shadow, there's light, and in the light, there's shadow. And so we're coming into this alignment. It says, thank you, angels, for opening the doors to change. I am ready. And so change is pause, rest, appreciate, savor the present moment. And many of you, maybe that's not the way you've been. Maybe you're listening to all these old, outdated ways of doing things that aren't working for Earth Angels, and you're feeling burnt and overwhelmed and what am I doing wrong and not good enough, right? This is the part of new beginnings. How do you change your approach and the way you've been doing things in a healthy way? And then finally, inner power. The boss, the divine father, of course, God would come in, right? It says, divine father, thank you for co-creating my world with me. This is him saying, I'm here working with you. I've got your back. Come to me. Now, this isn't a being that has power and control over you. I share again that we've come into this world as Earth Angels to experience the divine creator, Father, Mother, God, Goddess in human form. And we've been working with the Father and the blessings and this separation from our physical parents, right? A lot of us were born into, unfortunately, dysfunctional families. We were never meant to bond with our human parents, and we've been really kind of being asked to separate from this codependency and go higher to the divine. God is saying, this is the source of your inner power, right? And I want to share, it's the masculine, feminine. It's the God, the goddess. It's the same. It's just a different vibration, just like the yin yang. It's a whole, complete piece together. And so God is saying, like, This is your power. This is your pathway. Thank you for co-creating my world with me, meaning take pause and learn how to be comfortable in the space in between when nothing's happening. That is the pathway. Full surrender. And you'll be amazed at how things pop up in your life and they show up. I'm a living, breathing, perfect example of that. I've fought it for so long. And really, here, saying thank you, angels, for opening the doors for change. I am ready. You guys have to acknowledge that. That's that part of your free will. Are you really? Are you feeling it? Are you ready to grow? Are you ready to expand? Because I'm telling you, it's going to require a level of change. And the ego part, that's been comfortable, that's been keeping you safe, right? And again, I don't want to demonize the ego. It's a navigator for you. It's a compass. And when you can actually see the fears and feel how you're coming out of alignment with your divine source, you can actually use that energy to revitalize your system and then empower yourself even more so, right? I keep seeing solar plexus energy, maybe working on your solar plexus this week. And heart chakra, right? To receive divine love. It's amazing. Protection, the protection stone. I am protecting you. Some of you are into sacred geometry, going to sacred geometry this week, and just being open to receiving the blessings. Whew. Beautiful. Joy to the world. This is the pathway to joy. Rest, pause, inner peace, God. From there becomes new beginnings, acceptance of love, right? New levels of love. And he's saying, all right, we're going to squeeze you. And I want you to be empowered by it and not feel powerless by it, from it. All right. So let me close space. Thanking all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, God, source, creator of the universe, Mother Goddess, Holy Spirit, divine feminine energies, and all their holy beings of light that assisted with this guidance for you today. And I'm going to ask that any healing that was started continue for as long as it needs to be done. And so it is. All right, friends. So I am still out of the office for the month of June. The restrictions here in Rhode Island are still too strict. And I really can't maintain a quality of service with all the restrictions, so I'm not. So again, there's still a slight discount on my life purpose sessions, my divine guidance sessions, my combo sessions for video chats, and phone sessions if you're being called. If I can support you in any way. I am launching my subscription program, so there will be a description. There'll be a link in the description box below. I talked about doing different tiers, and I'm just really nervous about technology and my time. So I'm going to make a slow process. So we're going to start with just the first tier. And trust me, you'll get a lot of information. You'll be joining, have access to a Facebook group. I've already put in different playlists that I use for my own healing. I already have content that I want to put in there. And it really is about healing and giving you more pathways. There'll be live events. I'll do Facebook Lives, question and answers with this first tier. The second tier eventually will be classes. I'm not ready for it. There's too much going on for me. So look in the description box below. It'll take you to my website, and it'll be like just a description on what to get. You can sign up right from there, and we're going to start there. And if you want to bump up at some point, as I open up new slots and time, then we'll just figure it out as we go. So I thank you for your patience. I thank you for your love. I thank you for joining me on this quest for enlightenment and transformation and change. I appreciate you showing up with sessions, your likes, your subscribes, your shares. It really is beautiful to watch it all unfold. So thank you so much for showing up. I love you. God loves you so much. Trust in the divine, trust your intuition, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.